May 7th, 2026 City Council meeting to order, please.
Councilmember Deems?
Here.
Councilmember Howe?
Present.
Councilmember Hyman?
I am here.
Councilmember Jackson?
Here.
Councilman Worth?
Here.
Vice Mayor Riffle?
I am also here.
And Mayor Malpajo. This
Here.
evening, we have our prayer and pledge by Councilmember Howe.
Dear Lord, I pray that you guide us as always, satisfy the needs that need to be met during this meeting. Strengthen us as we continue to assess and make difficult decisions. Father, please guide us so that this meeting can be productive. Even if we have different opinions, give us the unity of spirit. Help us to work as a unified team in combining ideas for a great outcome. Help us to work as a whole rather than individuals trying to promote agendas. Let us be effective and decisive, and may we have a spirit of continued camaraderie within the chambers and continue to work together on our shared mission. In the name of the Lord, amen.
Amen.
Please place the flag and follow after me. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have several presentations this evening. If Mr. Yoke would come forward. Get out of
This is a letter that was sent to the West Virginia American Institute of Architects asking that it be read and presented to you in the Morgantown this April. Mr. William E. Yoke, dear Bill, as mayor of the city of Clarksburg, it is an honor and privilege to recognize your accomplishments, your achievements, and your service to the city of Clarksburg and the state of West Virginia, and congratulate you on receiving the 2026 James L. Montgomery AIA Emeritus Award. Such distinguished award is an honor given by the American Institute of Architects, West Virginia, and recognizes exceptional leadership, long-term service, and meaningful contributions that strengthen the architectural profession in West Virginia. Bill, you have displayed all of these outstanding attributes of this prestigious award throughout your career, and your dedication, integrity, mentorship, and commitment to the architectural profession is commendable. Having spent decades operating WYK Associates in our fine city, which continues to be an integral part of our downtown, your leadership and service to the community will forever be remembered and celebrated. Thank you for investing in the city of Clarksburg. Please accept this letter as a formal acknowledgement of your remarkable achievements and the positive impact you continue to make. May this recognition bring you as much pride as it does the city of Clarksburg, and may it always serve as a reminder of the profound difference you have made. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It doesn't open any doors that you might be able to connect with somebody. Congratulations, Bill. Well deserved.
Just briefly, it's very gratifying to be recognized by your peers and by your friends and neighbors, and I see several of those here tonight. So I want to thank you all very much for the recognition and hope that I can continue to contribute to the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
All right.
Congratulations.
Mayor, you can stay up there. Vice Mayor Riffle. This evening, we're going to recognize the Liberty Middle School boys basketball team.
First, we're going to recognize the coach, Patrick Rossi. Head coach DJ Burke, we feel like softball is more important than that. So Patrick's now do that. So Caden Davis. Gabe Riley. Luke Riley. Ian Strawner. Bryson LeBase. Landon Luca. Demarion Jackson. Abraham Morrison. Isaac Paul. Hayden Groves. Zay Turner. Grace Curran. Anthony Morano. Isaiah Singleton. Byron Holyfield. Declan Layton. Anything to say about former coach that you may have had that might be the reason why you're here right now? Ian Barksdale. Tyree Carter. Steve Barnett. Gus Christensen. Ty West. Junior Holmes.
You guys want to move down this way so we can get some pictures, please?
Boys, better smile.
For next week.
Those want to say something?
Sure. This was obviously a special group of kids. I had no intention to coaching basketball this past year, but I got a phone call about 3 weeks before tryouts. Because I'm a baseball coach, not a basketball coach, but this year I had an opportunity to be around a special group of kids that worked extremely hard all year. I think all of them would tell you that, as far as overall basketball skills, we know that that's an area that we got to work really hard in. And these guys, it's the truth. These kids absolutely, I think they would tell you their overall basketball abilities are not what they are on the flip side of how much they competed. They committed to guarding on the defensive end, how much they rebounded the ball, and we just out-toughed all of our opponents all season long. That was the tail of the tape with this group. They played so hard. Practices were intense multiple times. We had to break up some fights. But they were good fights. They were good fights. They were fights you wanted your kids to have. And I knew if they fought in practice, they would fight in the game. And ultimately that led them to a Mid-Mountain Conference championship. So these kids deserve a lot of credit. They've had a terrific year. I look forward to being a part of them next year. The guys that come back and the kids that head up to RCB, we look forward to what you guys do in the future. So thanks for letting me be a part of it.
Who's on 8th grade right now?
The tall ones.
There's, for some reason, we win championships at middle school level, we do high school level, and we don't. So you guys gotta keep winning, keep trying, keep putting all full effort. So if these guys come back as bird players here, we can honor you guys every year for championships, all right?
Congratulations.
Councilmember Deems. If Colleen Mick would come forward. Colleen Mick.
Just read it from the subject.
Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive fatal neurodegenerative disease in which a person's brain loses connection with their muscles, slowing and reducing a person's ability to walk, talk, eat, and eventually breathe. And whereas thousands of new ALS cases are reported every year, and estimates show that every 90 minutes, someone is diagnosed with ALS, and someone passes away from ALS. And whereas the exact causes of ALS are unknown, and there is no known cure for ALS. And whereas securing access to new therapies, durable medical equipment, and communication technologies is of vital importance to people living with ALS. And whereas clinical trials play a pivotal role in evaluating new treatments, enhancing quality of life, and fostering assistive technologies for those living with ALS. And whereas the ALS Association is the largest funder of ALS research globally, it has committed more than $154 million to support more than 550 projects across the United States in 18 countries. And whereas the ALS Association is committed to making ALS livable and cure it for everyone, everywhere. Now, therefore, I, Representative of James L. Mayor of the City of Clarksburg, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 as ALS Awareness Month. In the City of Clarksburg, we encourage all citizens to join in supporting ALS research, advocating for increased funding, and standing in solidarity with those affected by this relentless disease. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the City of Clarksburg to be affixed hereto this 7th day of May, 2026.
Thank you.
If Councilmember Worth would come forward, and Jess Williams.
The proclamation, whereas mental health is a shared human experience and residents of the City of Clarksburg are not immune to challenges faced by individuals and families across the country. And whereas bringing visibility to mental health encourages understanding, reduces stigma, and helps create a culture where individuals feel seen, heard, and supported. And whereas people of all ages, walks of life may experience mental health challenges, and access to support can make a meaningful difference in the quality of life. And whereas mental health is deeply connected to overall well-being and plays a vital role in the strength of families, workplaces, and communities throughout West Virginia. And whereas supportive environments that encourage conversation, education, and compassion allow individuals to seek help without fear of judgment. And whereas meaningful employment, inclusion, and opportunities for engagement contribute positively to mental health and a sense of purpose. And whereas organizations such as the Department of Harrison County and Job Squad provide a range of employment services that assist individuals experiencing mental health conditions and other disabilities in finding and maintaining meaningful employment while promoting inclusion, dignity, and equitable opportunity. And whereas the West Virginia chapter of the Association of People Supporting Employment First advances policy and system change efforts that increase support for these organizations' goals. And whereas a community grounded in empathy, connection, and opportunity benefits all who call it home. Now, therefore, I, Wayne Worth, representing our illustrious mayor, Jim Malfajo, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Mental Health Awareness Day in the City of Clarksburg, and encourage all residents to take part in fostering awareness, compassion, and support for mental health in every corner of our community. Thank you, guys.
My name is Jess Williams. I work for Clarksburg City Council. This is my supervisor, Mariah Jason. She's the vocational programs director. We wanted to bring some awareness to mental health issues because it's important in our community, in our area especially. But thank you so much for acknowledging the month.
Thank you guys. You guys do all the work.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of the regular session of April 16, 2026.
Madam Clerk, I move we approve the regular session minutes from April 16th, 2026, and the conference work session of April 23rd, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Petitions, communications, and public hearings. If you're a candidate wishing to address council this evening, we would ask that you please just limit your comments to your name and what office you're running for, rather than a campaign speech, if you don't mind. Marcus Rutter, 1310 Adams Avenue, wishes to address council concerning code enforcement and public works.
Hello. I know this is an issue that gets brought up pretty much every council meeting, so I'm going to do it again. For the past 2 weeks or so, I've called in code enforcement 6 times to get some grass cut at a condemned property on the side of me. And I don't know if it's city property or whose property it is that touches my backyard. I'm not very tall, but the grass is up to my waist. It got to the point where I didn't feel comfortable having my dog around it because there was snake skins, like where they shed and stuff. So I paid someone to cut it. And I still have not heard anything from the city. I did not call code enforcement back to tell them that it was cut, just to see how long it's been. It's day 9, by the way, in case anybody cares about that. You know, we keep hearing that there's going to be a lot of things addressed with code enforcement every single meeting, basically. And I don't feel like a lot of people are seeing that change. And so it's kind of irritating and frustrating. We constantly get the, you know, we're going to see that, but not really seeing that a lot. As citizens, you know, we're held to the standard to maintain our property, and instead, you know, when that standard isn't upheld by the city itself, it's, again, frustrating. I think a big takeaway that I always have from the meeting is most of the council members always say the see something, say something, and I saw something, I said something, and it wasn't addressed. So, again, just frustration, and that's all I wanted to say.
Did you say 9 days
Yeah.
since you reported it?
Yeah, it was, believe, 2 weeks almost ago.
Jason, is it 5 days after they reported that?
NOV is issued, then it's 10 days.
10 days. So by law, we can't, for 10 days after it's issued, we can't even respond.
If you provide them an address, I think we'll look into it for you before you leave here.
Okay, cool. Great.
But Councilman Murphy, I'll do, I would agree with Mr. Rutter, though. I mean, I think he at least should have received a call back the next day to let him know something.
Yeah.
What the process is.
Yes.
Can I ask a question? Did you leave a message?
No, I talk to someone every single time. I was told after my wife called also that now that there was a second complaint, it would become a priority.
Okay, so they did answer the call, so which means an NOV was probably written and we can't go and cut it for 10 days.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would assume if you were on day 9, you'd probably see somebody out there the next. I apologize. I thought you were saying you didn't talk to anybody 6 times. But if you talk to them and you're on day 9, they would have been out there day 11 or 12. unless it's the weekend.
So the response I got from whoever was answering the phone was that they have told an officer and that they should be out soon.
Yeah.
I guess if I was told 10 days, I wouldn't have called, 6 times.
I'll make sure they
But-
tell that, but we do have to follow that. Before that, we're not allowed to go back on we're not allowed to go on the property for 10 days.
Okay.
Is that a state regulation or is that a city
For
order?
10 days, and it's also inclusive into the ICC codes as well.
What does ICC stand for?
International.
International Code.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
We almost identically follow that.
Yes.
What is it?
You say it's 5081. Is that your address?
No, 1310
1310. Which street?
Adams Avenue.
Okay.
Thank you.
Heather Chase, 632 East Pike Street, wishes to address council concerning the expansion of the downtown construction impact business grant. Oh.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. I've recently discussed all the effects the construction has had on my small business. I just wanted to take a minute to thank you and let you know that I appreciate that you are willing to consider this matter again to correct the oversight of small businesses that were overlooked. Everybody knows how I feel on this. I really wanted to just let you guys know that I appreciate that you guys are taking the time to look into it. And that's all I wanted to say tonight. Hope you have a good evening.
Thank you.
Randy Audrick, 1008 North 21st Street, wishes to address council concerning street signs.
Good evening, I'm Randy Andrick. None of you here know me, but I just wanted to speak up for the kids in my neighborhood. I've lived in my house for 55 years, and over that period of time, I've seen 2 kids get hit on their bikes. One of them, the most serious one, was a broken leg, thank God. And I just wanted to bring this point up. We need some street signs because people, they don't pay attention to the sign. We got a 4-way stop there below our house, and I've seen dopeheads stop there that they don't even stop there long enough to wait on the sign to turn green. But I've just never seen anything like it. These roads are all tore up right now, putting these pipelines in, and they fly up and down these roads. I guess they think if they go fast enough that the dust won't settle on their car. I think if we got some slow children playing or something for these kids, I'm not here speaking for myself, I'm speaking for the kids. We got to do something in our neighborhoods. Because I feel if I speak up now, the next time a kid get hit, it ain't on me. I've said my piece, finally. I mean, over the years, I keep saying I'm going to say something. Over the years, I've seen them put up 2 signs at the foot of the hill below my house. And both of those signs have disappeared. I don't know if the city takes them up and moves them somewhere else or what happens to them 2 signs over the years, but they're gone. And had a guy stop in front of the house the other day, complaining about the holes in the road where they're putting the water line in. He said, my car drags. I said, well, did you ever try swerving around them or slowing down a little bit? Or I said, you could even go around another block another way and get into your house. No. So, but there's just little things people can do to help. But a road sign, maybe a road sign on our street. I'm the only one on our street that don't have any little kids right now. I've raised my kids, my grandkids, and now I got a granddaughter graduating from Marshall this weekend. And I'm thinking, I'm going to have grandkids for them, great grandkids. So I got to start thinking ahead again. And But let's think about the kids, not just my street, but all through the area, like Northview and the city. I don't know. I don't pay much attention to the other streets in town, but I try to drive slow, but because of the kids, because I've seen kids get hurt. But that's all I got to say about it.
What's your street?
What's your address, sir?
1008 North 21st. I live a block from the bakery. And of course, I live on a hill.
Yeah.
And them people just shoot down that hill down to the stop sign.
I was telling Councilman Worth when he explained it to me earlier after he'd spoken to you that I live in Northview too. And from what I've gathered is I'll be going up the hill at 15, 20 mile an hour up West Virginia Avenue. And what people will do is they'll go up Williams to beat me down to the intersection because I'm driving 15, 20 mile an hour. They want to go 30 or whatever. And I see it all the time. I know exactly what you're talking about. So hopefully we can get something done up there.
Yeah, they fly on Williams. I yell at them all the
We
time.
scheduled a traffic, is that the one you emailed me about?
Yes.
We scheduled a traffic committee meeting to get signs up.
Okay, appreciate it.
I appreciate it. You know, just take a look at it for the kids. They might want to call me the grouchy old man or whatever. I will speak up for them.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Randy.
Jeremy Jones, 634.5 Monticello Avenue, wishes to address council concerning his children.
Yeah, I have been calling for the past week or so. My name is Jeremy Jones, by the way. I'm 40 years old. I'm Monticello Avenue. I've been calling for like a week now. My child has even called the cops because the guy that her mom has living with him is touching my children, and nobody's doing anything. I've called CPS. I've called Charleston. I'm bringing it to your guys' attention. I want something done. This guy is clearly touching my children. I have copies of text messages from my child's cousin telling me that the child being touched, and then my daughter writing to me. I have text messages. They interviewed my children. My children didn't bring it up because my ex-wife had threatened my daughter if she told anything that she was going to beat her up. So I want to know what's being done. I have text messages, even one from last night where she said that Andrew came back to the house. These girls are my adopted daughters. They're not even my actual daughters. These are my nieces. And they were already taken away from their mother for drugs and paraphernalia. My daughter in this one text message telling me that my ex-wife, Aunt Sarah, is taking meth in front of her, and nobody is doing anything. CPS here, and I've called CPS multiple times. My children have tattoos. They're 13 and 15 with tattoos on their bodies because nobody's doing anything. I've reported this, been inside family court. Nobody wants to help me. I'm asking city council to do something to help me. I'll give you the copies of everything, and that's all I need.
Thank you, sir.
Roger Zachariason wishes to address council concerning a politician who has financially mistreated some citizens of Clarksburg.
Hello, City Council. I got a question for you. If there were a politician in Charleston who's mistreating some people in this city, do you think that the City Council should do something about it? Stand up for those people and speak out for them? Well, I think you should, and I'm encouraging you to do that regarding Ben Queen, Senator Ben Queen, Senator in Charleston for District 12, Senatorial District 12. I'm encouraging this council to give an official rebuke and condemnation of Ben Queen regarding him mistreating financially some people in the city, regarding not paying the rent in the businesses he operated. In Stonewall Coffee, he operated the business for something like 14 months, and for many of those months, he failed to pay rent to the owner of the company, who is Jeremy Engel, who's part of the Nesting Owl Company. They own the Empire National Bank building that they're renovating downtown. And you can talk to him, ask him about it. In fact, I think he's put in some kind of a lawsuit regarding this. How many of you heard anything about this? Anybody? Not too many. It seems to me like the exponent telegram has been the exponent won't telegram, and they ought to tell people about it, because we have an election coming up and people have a right to know. If a person is financially incompetent, if he's financially lacking in integrity and not fulfilling his contractual duties to people, So you need to contact Jeremy Engel. He's one of the 4 owners of the Nesting Owl Company who owns the building out of which Stonewall Coffee operates. And you can talk to him and he'll tell you. And I hope the Exponent Telegram, no offense to Jeremy, he knows nothing about this. I'm sure he has nothing to do with suppressing this story. If it has been suppressed, I think it has been. I think they have been contacted. And they have so far, I believe, refused to do their journalistic duty of informing the people of this area regarding Ben Queen and his delinquencies. Another person, Jeffrey W. Browning, dentist in Bridgeport. He owns the building that the Stonewall Coffee in Bridgeport was operating out of. And he didn't pay his rent many, many months there also. And as a result, my brother, who eventually was given the company, the business back because Ben Queen was forced to return the companies because he wasn't paying his rent. And that's not what he told some people. I know one person, he says, well, don't you operate some coffee companies? He said, I sold them. That's not true. That's false. And do we want a politician in Clarksburg who's not honest with people, who's not telling people what's up? I think we don't. I sure don't. And somebody who's not able to handle finances, do we want him handling our public financial, our tax money, our public money? I don't think so. This man's not so sure. I am sure. I'm sure.
Well,
we don't want that.
Maybe we can talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, check into it. Check into it. Also, check with Kevin Zacharias, and he's the one through Ben Queen bought the companies from, and then Ben Queen owned and operated them, managed them, mismanaged them for maybe 14 months or so, and he was eventually given the companies back, the businesses back, but because Ben Queen had not paid rent on that Bridgeport to the owner of the Bridgeport property that Stonewall Coffee in Bridgeport was operating out of, the owner had gotten another person to take that area, and when Ben Queen was forced to give the businesses back, he's my brother, he was forced to relinquish, the business. He lost the business as a result of Ben Queen's financial incompetence. And Jake, I'm hoping Jake gets this back to the Exponent Won't Telegram, and they will prove themselves to be the Exponent Will Telegram. We'll see about that. And hopefully it'll come out soon. I can give this sheet where he can easily find out this information. He can hand it to the people that would write a story about this, and they could get a story out quickly. There's no reason why they can't do it by Monday in time to inform the people. Of course, some people have already voted, early voting. Too bad. They've been delinquent in their duty, and unfortunately, those who have already voted will not be able to be informed. But hopefully by Monday, we'll see. And maybe next time I come here, I can say that the Exponent Won't Telegram did indeed get on the ball and do their duty, their journalistic duty, to be objective and to present the facts and not to protect certain politicians for some reason.
Sir, your time is up, please.
Official condemnation and rebuke. Maybe we could even publish it in the Exponent Telegram.
Dawn Myers wishes to address council concerning council and the water board.
My name is Don Myers. Why am I here? I'm here to ask for the immediate removal of everyone sitting there.
Oh, come on, Donnie, even me?
Okay, and I asked for an immediate arrest of all that you had illegal intent. I don't know that, yet to be determined. What brought us here? Well, let's start at the beginning. Let's start with West Virginia State Code 8-5-8. What is West Virginia State Code 8-5-8? It is the qualifications that you must do within 20 days and before you take office, after you're elected. Okay, let me just read this to you. Every person elected or appointed to an office of any municipality shall, unless otherwise provided in chapter thereof, there's 2 exemptions, 6-1, 6-2. State Congress and the Senate. There is no other exemptions. Okay? And within 20 days after his election or appointment, and before he shall enter upon the duties of his office, must take and subscribe an oath of office prescribed for the district officers, which may be done before any person authorized by law to administer oaths, or before the mayor or recorder of such municipality. The oath, together with the certificate of the officer administered the same, shall be filed, recorded, and preserved in the office of the recorder of the municipality. And a certified copy of such oath and certification shall be filed and recorded in the office of the clerk of the county court of the county in which the municipality or the majority portion of the territory there is located. What does this mean? This means once you're elected, you have to take and subscribe an oath, which means you have to physically take it. You have to have a witness. You have to have a notary sign it with her name and put her signature on it. And you have to have a state seal. Now, you have a legal document, but you cannot hold office yet. If you are a city official, which all of you are, you have to take that to your city clerk to have it filed, recorded, and preserved. Who is our city clerk? I already know that. Okay. Are they there? Okay. Now, but you still can't hold office yet. Here's where you all violated. Certified copy to John Spires' office, county clerk. Now I went and checked John's office, and I brought every one of those certified copies of that oath that's required by West Virginia state law. You know how many I found? I got them in my hands right now. None of you got one. What does that actually mean? Well, first of all, it means you violated your own oath. Okay? Now, I'm going to say this in a delicate and different way tonight than I did at the Board of Education meeting, because I got accused of threatening. I'm going to quote to you the original Constitution. And for all you idiots that don't know what the original Constitution says, please read it. It states, anybody that violates their oath upon conviction is to be taken by the posse to the nearest tree and hung by the neck until you are dead. Okay? Now, you did not only violate State Law Chapter 8, which is the criminal code, you also violated the charter when you did. Okay? But you also violated 6-1-3, 6-1-5, 6-1-6, 6-1-7, and 6-1-8. What is that? Okay? Well, 6-1-3 says that you can't take. You have to take those oaths. And that, okay? It says before proceeding to and exercise your authority.
Your time is up, sir.
Okay?
Thank you.
Shannon Welsh wishes to address council.
Hey guys, I know we've got some watchers on the video here. Good evening. My name is Shannon Welsh, and I'm running for the House of Delegates, District 70, as well as for the Democratic Executive Committee in Senatorial District 12. Early voting's already underway across West Virginia. We're seeing some early engagement. Here in Harrison County, turnout so far is right around 2%. So people are starting to show up, but we still need to.
Excuse me. All you can do is get up and say your name and what office you're running for. That's what was said in the beginning.
I don't have the 5 minutes. I'm a constituent. And we just had a 5-minute discussion here. I'm a constituent as well.
For your candidacy.
I'm not stumping for anything. I'm making my speech. I wanted to say how excited I am about the city council race. We have people stepping up who care about this community, and that matters. No matter how it turns out, I'm looking forward to working with whoever earns those seats. The goal is the same, getting things done for people in Clarksburg and making sure local government is responsive and accountable. Election day is next Tuesday, May 12th. If you can't make it then, please take advantage of early voting. Early voting in Harrison County is held at 2 different places, the Harrison County General Services Building at 229 South 3rd Street, and also at Meadowbrook Mall. Please take advantage of early voting, and thank you for your time tonight.
City manager's report. I'm gonna unplug that clock because I can't get it to stop doing a 5-minute.
We can get the meeting done in 5 minutes.
I was going to say that'll move the discussion along, right?
Yeah, really quick. We can do it. We can just unplug it. Rich, will you unplug that? I got it.
So we'll start with the parks. There's improvements in the parking lot, the amphitheater. There was a Renaissance Fair was rescheduled for Saturday, May 9th due to inclement weather on April 25th. Pickleball courts are opened up. Hiring for the summer pool staff is complete. And tomorrow is the grand opening for the new Glen Elk Park. It's at 1:30. We're all very excited about that. If you go over to code enforcements and projects, there's our new director. He's putting everything to a spreadsheet so council can read through that, but NOVs have started to go up. I also wanted to let council know we've started an initiative in the city, and it's with code, Jason Lane, members of the police, members of Public Works, where once a week from 8:30 to 12:30 on Tuesdays, next week will be Thursday, we are walking through a neighborhood and looking at all the deficiencies that exist. And we went out, our first one was Tuesday. There was 174 actions taken that day and written down. We will be doing this from April until October. I will be out for the first 4. And really what this is we've heard from everybody around the council table, we've heard from the public, from candidates. What they're hearing is they want clean, safe neighborhoods. This has never been tried in the city before, but this also is going to increase communication between our code department and Public Works, because what happens is code writes the NOV or citation and it's passed over to Public Works. And we want to make sure that there's a communication connection between all the departments, including police, because there is houses that are being looked at by police for criminal behavior. So by getting everybody involved, we're able to write those actions, NOVs, citations that need to be done. But all the departments are now gaining an idea of some of the limitations and difficulties other departments are facing, and understanding how, if we all work together, how we can move these neighborhoods forward and clean them up. At the same time, Jason Lane, who's our project director, what he's doing is going over every single sidewalk in the neighborhoods, identifying which ones need to be replaced, which ones we potentially can remove. And there is a grant that we've identified, and we would like to come up, and this is coming to council, with a sidewalk replacement program citywide. It's going to require some changes, but it is something that we're working on, and I think it will be very helpful, because replacing sidewalks is expensive and it's cost prohibitive for homeowners and property owners to do that on their own. And I think this is going to be a great way to spruce up our neighborhoods. So I'm going to move on. In the finance department, B&O taxes collection is 1.28 million. We're working on getting more funds in for B&O. We also are working on a couple of legislative pieces, and council has been made aware of those. The fire department responded to a total of 310 calls. They hired a new firefighter, and there's 3 structure fires in the month of April, one being an abandoned house. The police department responded to 1,840 calls for service in the month of October. Officers Chapman, Abels, Elliott, and Kelly started the West Virginia State Police Academy on May 4th, and it's
Our police department is currently starting backgrounds to fill 2 vacant positions. Also, the vehicle that was severely damaged about 6, maybe 8 weeks ago has been reordered. So we're hoping to get that into the city sooner rather than later. Public Works has been very busy. We did our cleanup. We've been doing a lot of blacktop filling. We're doing street sweeping and cleaning up underneath our bridges and some of the unhoused encampments as well. They do call our social worker when they find those encampments to help get people into services and care and connect them with those resources. Sorry, I had a bandage on. I'm going to move over to the Robinson Grants. They have a full month of activities and different performances. You can go to their website to see more. And the sanitary sewer department, there was no violations to report. They've replaced lots of pipe. They've replaced laterals. They've repaired catch basins, and they're also out making sure all our infrastructure that is being worked on in the neighborhoods with the water project, making sure those are being put back correctly. They also use the vac truck to assist the West Virginia Department of Highways with a sinkhole and removed brush as well. That's so far the update.
City clerk's information, a zoning form in connection with an application to operate a private wine restaurant or tavern has been filed by Ann Hart of 123 South 4th Street and returned to the applicant on May 4th. Unfinished business, consideration of second and final reading and public hearing of an ordinance to approve current replacement pages to the codified ordinances. Notices regarding the public hearing appear April 22nd and April 29th.
We will now open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against may do so at this time. We'll close the public hearing.
Mayor, I move to approve replacing the current codified ordinances.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
New business, consideration of first reading of an ordinance transferring 517 Duff Avenue from the city of Clarksburg to the Clarksburg Land Reuse Agency.
Mayor, I approve transferring 517 Duff Avenue from City of Clarksburg to the City LRA.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of approving the professional services agreement with Thrasher Engineering regarding the splash pad project in an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Mr. Mayor, I move to reject the approval of the professional services agreement in the amount of not to exceed $50,000 to Thrasher Engineering for the splash pad located at City Park in Nutter Fort.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Discussion. Just a point of order or clarification here. You motioned to reject it?
Correct.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
No.
Councilmember Deems?
No.
Councilmember Howe?
Yes.
Councilmember Hyman?
No.
Councilmember Jackson?
No.
Councilmember Worth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Riffle?
No.
Vice Mayor Malfajo?
Mr. Mayor, I move to table this item so we have further discussion regarding placing these tax dollars and the amount of the projects to the city park at Nutter Fort.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Councilmember Deems?
No.
Councilmember Howe?
Yes.
Councilmember Hyman?
No.
Councilmember Jackson?
No.
Councilmember Worth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Riffle?
No.
Mayor Malfajo?
I make a motion we approve the consideration of professional services agreement with Thrasher Engineering splash pad project amount not to exceed $50,000.
Second. Discussion. So can we get an update on the funding request that was given to the county commission and to the city of Nutter Fort?
Yeah, so I spoke to Laura. She said the commission hasn't requested it be put back on the agenda yet. They're working through their budget. I think they've also had some other issues. And Nutter Fort, they haven't put it back on their agenda either. But I don't think that should stop us from moving forward. We have a lot of grant money that was approved for this. Right now, we're at the very last step, and Thrasher has said if we move forward right now, we'll be able to have this complete by fall, which would be amazing for the kids of Clarksburg and anybody else that's going to be using that facility.
And can you tell everybody here how much in grant funding we are receiving?
Off the top of my head, it's somewhere between 620 and 700,000, but I don't have the exact amount. Well, that's not true. Sorry, I apologize. It's grant funding, it's just over 300,000 and matching ARPA funds.
Okay, how much do we have left in the ARPA fund account?
I'm not sure off the top of my head. I do apologize. Kim was supposed to be here, but she had a family emergency and one of her siblings was taken to the hospital, so I don't have that number off the top of my head.
So at minimum, do we have $310,000 for the minimum match if it's 620, and do we have the max if it's 720?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question. Have you exhausted all the means of trying to get that moved?
Yes, I even emailed the governing body and I sent that all to council asking if we could move it, and they said no.
Why? What was the reason?
The grant is attached to the location, and there's a number of studies that go along with that for protected species. So the grant is specific to that location and it cannot be moved.
I had a question. So other than the grant funding of $300,000, where does the other $310,000 or $320,000 come from?
The ARPA funds that council approved to match that.
Okay.
So the operating cost, I don't remember what you told me. Was it $5,000?
It's around 5,000. We got some numbers from one of the companies that actually build them. And then I talked to Jason at the water board specifically just to find out how much the water cost would be, because they're slightly higher. And at most, it's about $500 to $600 a year for water because it's a recirculating system.
$500 to $600 a year?
Yes.
Okay.
For water, yeah.
You know, I would just like to put forward in this matter, you know, we discussed this early on, and, you know, the idea of putting it down on Monticello was floated. And also, when that idea came across, the amount of fill dirt that would be needed to actually level that up, to put that down there, you know, we took this vote and we figured that, you know what, it wasn't actually financially feasible to do that. You know, Clarksburg City Park is our park. Our Clarksburg City Park Director works out of the park over there. We have Frank Gloria Field over there. This has been our responsibility since back in, I think, right around 1954, somewhere in there. This is our park. It's our responsibility. It's unfortunate the way that the logistics fall, but this is still our park. It's still our responsibility. So, you know, we will be doing the citizens, you know, a disservice by not continuing to keep this property up and to build onto it. We have a lot of things that go on out there. People bring their children out there for soccer practices. You know, mom may have to bring 2 kids out there for a soccer practice, but 2 other kids are just running through the park. Here's a great opportunity. Here's something, you know, this is a perfect fit. You know, this is something that we own and we have to continue to maintain. You know, we can't just let this thing run down to the point where it's worth nothing and then, you know, try to give it away or pawn it off on someone else. This is a city of Clarksburg responsibility. This is an asset that we have, and we need to continue to take care of it, in my opinion.
And I'll follow up with that. I concur with you 1,000%. It is our park. We should be taking care of our park. I think we're doing a wonderful job of putting money and funding into that park system over there. It's great. But again, I think the issue we're coming upon in the park is what you said. It is so well used. Parking is an issue over there, and parking is going to get worse. Well, come summer, if you have a splash pad on there, you've got games at Frankfort, you've got soccer games at the fields, you have T-balls, you have softball, you've got a plethora of activities taking place in that park. And this, I don't know if we've consider the balls coming down to Frank Gloria Field onto the splash pad where it's going to be located. I mean, there's a lot of issues that I foresee arising out of this, and that's my personal feeling on it. And I voted no on it in the past, and if I recall, I do not remember ever a vote on it from Monticello Avenue. It was always on this location, and I think we brought forward other locations, but those were never ever voted upon, just to make the record clear.
Well, and I take what you say into consideration, but the thing that I also take into consideration is for many years the Blackberry Festival was held over there in Nutter Fort, and they brought in thousands of people for that Blackberry Festival. They parked up and down 19 right there, I believe it is, or 20, and they parked over in the neighborhoods. They parked over with the businesses. People always seem to be able to find a place to park if this is something that they really want to do and walk in. We're not asking people to walk 5 miles. I mean, it's just, okay, park back into a community and walk in, a couple of blocks. Like I said, I've seen this. I've heard the thing about, parking for so long. They just had some little festival over there a week or so ago. The weather didn't really work out very well, but still, I took a ride through. I saw the way that people parked up and down, just the way they used to. Parking really isn't a big issue there. Yeah, maybe it's not a parking lot and it's not the greatest idea, but you know what? It works. It works. It's worked for years, and I don't see where there's any difference here.
So I had a question. So I understand, it's our park, our responsibility, although it's in the town of Nutter Fort. So why do we request money from Nutter Fort to begin with, if it was something that we're just going to take responsibility for?
Why not? At least ask. Closed mouth doesn't get fed.
I suggested that because council talks about, we just heard that the county needs to work together with its surrounding neighbors. When the annex building 6 months ago was filling up with sewage, I had our departments go and help out because that's what good neighbors do. And that can be in kind, that can be financial. This is walking the walk, talking the talk. It's great for the city of Clarksburg. It's also great for any kids that can't afford to get into the VA park, which is a beautiful facility. This is a free facility.
And I agree. I think we're walking the talk by helping in kind and doing things such as what you just mentioned, and I commend you for that. That's what we should be doing. Should be helping anybody like that. But again, we made the request, so it looks like it's one-sided. We're doing everything. The city's providing. It's going to make it very easy for the citizens of Nutter Fort, their children to walk there. I love it. I'm glad they can, but I know my children can't walk. Well, my one young child's not going to be able to walk there. And some, talking about splash zone being expensive, they probably won't be able to get transit either there, if they can't afford to go to the splash pad. So I don't know. I just think that there's other good locations to do this in. And, if this succeeds, I love it. I'll probably still support it, but I'm still going to advocate heavily that we do another splash pad at another location in the corporate city limits of Clarksburg that's very accessible to the younger children, younger adults in our community. So I will not rest until that vision gets completed as well.
So, had we approached the town of Nutter Fort and the county commission before a couple of months ago? Like, did we? Because this started before I came on council. So, had we reached out to them and expressed interest in funding?
I can't remember the exact timeline.
Okay. Well, I'm going to admit I'm really torn on this, and I told Vice Mayor Riffle earlier this week I was probably a no, and then I went in and I talked to people and I listened to what they had to say, and I understand that it's our park and our responsibility. I think we've done a great job with that park. I think that's a beautiful facility. It's got a great walking trail. It's got great athletic fields. It's got great green space, playground. I think we're doing fine with that park. But, it just kind of weighs on me that we're going to put this splash pad in. And, it it is not walkable for most of the city of Clarksburg. I guess maybe if you had older kids, you could, and you lived in Arbutus Park, maybe you could cut across there through Nutter Fort. It just seems like we're putting this in a spot where residents are gonna get some benefit from it, but I hear Councilman Howe, and I think that it could provide an impact in the audience that we're looking for, those low income families somewhere else. But
to follow up on that, so not to belabor the point about the county commission Nutter Fort. So have you personally gone to their meetings to make the request?
Yes, I was at the county meeting, and then I had another meeting to go to, and Annette came and they tabled it, and I sent information that they requested. I'm sure at some point it will be back on their agenda. I think what council needs to consider is we're right at the end of this process. The last thing you want to do is have the federal government and the state government involved and tell them you don't want their grant funds, because they're not going to want to fund the city again. This was the second time we applied for this grant.
So from my perspective throughout all this, I get everything that everybody said. I had a good perspective, and throughout all this process, it's been even since last year. And since I'm very involved with the youth, there was the Jerry West Basketball League, and I kept on asking all the parents because I needed to know. It's like, but personally, I brought Oaks. My son played at the park, city park in Nutter Fort more than they did the VA. We're in Broad Oaks, right over the hill. We're going to be there. Broadway, the same. They're not going to VA if they live in Broadway. If they live on the east side, they're not going to VA. They're going to that park right there. It's a wonderful park, which I think we all agree with that. City Parks is doing a great job. But I asked that question. I asked that question over and over and over to the parents because this was an issue. The location, I get it. I would love to have it right on Harrison Street. It's not going there. If it was in Northview, I live in Broad Oaks, my son's not walking there. If I live at Hillendale, Staley, and it's in Broad Oaks, they're not walking there. Actually in Broad Oaks, my son would have a quicker chance. There's a shortcut because I used to take it when I was younger, but go down behind. But there's a shortcut. But anyway, that's not the way it is right now. Kids aren't walking across town anymore. Unfortunately, I wish that was the case. But the distance changes much for people in Broad Oaks, Broadway. Now the people in Northview, I get it. They would love it in their backyard. I don't disagree. We thought about Jackson Park. I thought about Staley parking. There's an issue there. The logistics of it, having somebody man it, the city parks would have issues funding that position. To have somebody all the way across town where they normally wouldn't have a position. I thought about all this, considered all this, and it came down to me just asking the public and asking the parents if they would support it, if they would like it, if they take their kid there, and it came back a resounding yes for me. But everybody has their opinion, and I don't disagree with everything that everybody said up here. But from my perspective, that's what I've got. That's what I heard. And that's from the people that we have to be asking, the people that are going to be taking their kids there. That's who I asked. I had my own son, Broad Oaks. He went there. That's just the truth of it. That's just what it is, and that's why I'm going to support it.
And Councilman Deems, you asked if we had been in contact with the county commission, and I personally had conversations with all three commissioners, and not one single commissioner is willing to get on board with that.
Yeah. And Mr. Councilman Jackson, that's I guess my point. I think we need to make that stated to them in a public meeting. I mean, we can have all the, and I love the fact that you had those personal conversations with them, but I think that's what I was kind of asking, the city manager to please go there, get on their agenda, tell them, show them the plans, what we're expecting to do, request that money, and make them take a vote, yay or nay. I think we need to know, are we going to be funding it? I mean, right now we're funding all of it, but I mean, we want to know, are they supporting this project? And if not, give a reason. Same as Nutter Fort. It's coming to their town. They're going to collect the B&O tax from it, from the construction. So I think we need to ask them.
I say let's all go.
I have asked them.
To a
I
meeting.
can't force them to put it on the agenda.
No, but you can show up at a public comment and request, just like anybody else would here when it's not on our agenda.
Well, I've called to ask to be on it, and I could go to their session, but regardless of whether they support it or not, to me, the message that if we're not gonna move forward after doing all this work, you have grant fund you can't use anywhere else, you have ARPA funds that are specifically allotted to this, and we're past the federal deadline, we can look to build another splash pad. That doesn't mean this one should stop.
I'll just state, the only thing I'm saying is we've been here for a long time. I'll agree with that. This hasn't gotten to the agenda until now. I've requested it on the agenda, I think it's been 6 weeks. Now, the advertisement went out for the request for proposals on December 20th, January 6th. The due date for the proposals to be put in was on January 12th. From January 12th to May 7th is a lot of time. We still could have had this discussion, or it could have been passed, or we could have been moving on. The design maybe could have been completed. Maybe it could have been completed, the project, before the fall, because if the project doesn't complete the fall, it's not opening until 2027. It's not going to open in the fall.
But we've never had one ever.
I agree. And I love the fact that we're having a splash pad, but let's be realistic. It's 2027 when it's going to be utilized by anybody who wants to. It's not going to be utilized in 26. It won't be done.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'm sorry, I'm confused on what you're trying to tell me though.
I'm telling you, we wasted 5 months of our time without doing anything on this project to bring it forth to City Council to approve the RFP.
We had to interview all the companies, we had
That
to
was a week.
rank all the companies, we had to work with Thrasher. We had to follow the 5G process. We've been.
That is the 5G process. Right. And if you remember, I told you we had to follow the 5G process when you said we didn't because it was approved by the state, which obviously we had to. But I will follow up with saying that the amount that Thrasher's charging, God bless them, I'm not contesting the $50,000 fee. That's cheap because any engineering firm will charge you 10%. 10% is way more than that. So they should be charging a minimum of $62,000 to $72,000. So I hope we're getting the full litany of the project of the full amount of money. If we're short or if the project goes over, I hope the contingency is built in there. And if it's not, I just want to make sure where we're taking the money out of, because I don't see anything in the general fund. I don't know where the room is in the general fund to pay for it.
We've talked to them about the budget, how tight the budget is. They understand that. The estimated total project is $550. That gives us a contingency.
Okay.
I think we can come up with every reason not to do it or say,
I'm not coming up with any reason not to do it.
This is great for the kids. We don't want to give up 6 figures of grant funds. Let's move forward.
I love it. I just want to make one more statement. If it goes over, I am not for any funding to come out of the park board for this project. The park board is not even in favor of the project. Call the question.
Thank you.
We've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Councilmember Deems?
Yes.
Councilmember Howe?
No.
Councilmember Hyman?
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson?
Yes.
Councilmember Worth?
No.
Vice Mayor Riffle?
Yes.
Mayor Mappleton?
Yes.
Consideration of the approval of the bid and the financing of the rescue truck for the fire department.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to excuse myself and abstain from this vote. I sent an email in for one of my coworkers, so I'm going to abstain from the vote.
Thank you.
Council, just.
What is the amount of the bid?
I got it. If you would like me to read it.
Please.
So I move we approve the professional services agreement. I'm sorry, reading the wrong one. Consideration and approval for the bid, financing the rescue truck for the fire department to MVB Bank in the amount of $557,399.20 for a 10-year term.
That's not,
That's not the one that was
correct
highlighted?
one.
Let me revisit it.
It's supposed to, we're recommending that you take the
That was the one that was
country
highlighted in my
road.
packet.
Is
The
that not-
highlighted one is MVB.
Sorry.
Give me a second.
It's supposed to be number 3. I don't know why the first one's highlighted.
Here's Kim's letter.
Yeah.
It says MVB.
I'm getting there. What's the difference between number 3?
Okay, she's not here to ask. I'll have to go with her recommendation. When we spoke on the phone, we talked about number 3. And I'm not sure why she had to run out. I don't know why, but.
So is 3, we can't have discussion yet, can we?
I moved it. I
Yeah,
don't know
we
if
can
it's
have
seconded.
discussion.
So why is 3? Because 3's in the.
It's 0.05% lower. The actual lowest was Country Roads Leasing, but Davis Trust isn't in the city of Clarksburg. So when we talked, we went to the next one, which is West Union Bank, because they are in the city of Clarksburg. So I'm not, Annette, did you talk to her about that?
Yeah, she sent that email as a follow-up. And highlighted that.
In light of the information, I move we table this item until the next meeting.
I don't know if we can.
Well, that's going to be a problem.
Because she's talking about, these are 2 proposals with a lower APR. There are 2 proposals lower with APR than a 1% lease fee. Okay, that's why there's no lease fee. Okay, no, she must have seen that after.
Mr. Marsh, my nephew is president of that bank. Should I excuse myself?
Based on what she said in that email, then yes, that is the right one.
All right, well, then my motion stands.
We need a second.
Second. Well, let's put a pause on this for a second.
We could table it
Well, we gotta get him.
based on delivery date.
Do you need to be in or out?
No, he said it fine. He's not immediate. He's my nephew, but.
And you don't like him that much.
He's your nephew. What'd you say?
I said you don't like him that much.
Richard's the one to come back.
So are we going with the MVB? Is that what it
Yes.
is? Can I see that sheet again?
So what was the total again from MVB Bank, please?
$557,000 or $557,399.20. 10 years, interest rate 4.35%.
We have a motion and a second.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Howe, you can come back.
I took it over to work.
Okay.
Consideration of a change order to contract 3 to add the demolition of the structure located at North 1114 24th Street in the amount of $6,500 and the asbestos abatement and demolition of the structure located at North 1116 24th Street in the amount of $10,500.
Council?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
We have to state the amount.
Yep.
You have to state who you're awarding it to.
Oh.
That would be Safeco Environmental Services is the lowest bidder.
I make a motion that we issue the change order to Safeco Environmental Services in the amount of $6,500 for North 1114 24th Street and $10,500 for 1116 24th Street.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of a change order to contract one in the amount of $17,522 for unidentified asbestos construction located at 101 Grant Street, 140 Howard Street, 144 Howard Street, 207 Harrison Street, and 212 West Woodland Avenue. And the lowest bid was Reclaim Company.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move to award this change order number 1 to Reclaim Company LLC of Fairmont, West Virginia, for said the structures for an increased amount of $17,522.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Discussion real quick, if you don't mind.
Yes.
So just refresh my memory. These were already awarded to Reclaim, is that correct, in previously? These structures is here?
That's correct, Councilman Howe. They've already been awarded and Reclaim, when they went through to do their due diligence on the testing, they did find other materials.
Okay.
This is a change for additional analysis.
Thanks.
Of course they did.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of the expansion of the Downtown Construction Impact Business Grant Program.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. I would also make a motion to add an amendment to that to extend the boundaries to corner of Baker Street and Milford Street and West Pike Street on 19 to Coleman Avenue, to cover areas that I believe were also affected too.
I don't even
Yeah,
know where that is
I don't know if it's
off the top of my head.
for discussion on his, somebody make a second on his motion?
Second.
Discussion. This is all new. I don't know why didn't you bring this up before so we can have an idea how much that is?
I'm not going to speak to Councilman Worth, but this is new, is it not,
No, I
No.
emailed that out.
today?
No.
No, so this came, I think, April 16th.
Yeah. I sent it to all council.
I got it today.
I just made a motion to amend the current one, just to extend the boundary. So this is just an addition to the current motion that's out there. And since we're in discussion, the reason why I made that motion is because there are businesses that extend past the Milford Street, West Pike Street split there, that are on Milford Street that's still been impacted by this. And also, there are potentially businesses too that up on West Pike Street all the way to Coleman, which is at the top of the hill before you go down into Adamston, that I believe that that have also been impacted too because of access trying to get to those businesses. So that's why I made the motion.
But you don't have any idea how many businesses, how much money that might be?
I do not.
It's tough for us to make a decision based on a number we don't know.
Can you name those streets again, Councilman Worth? Coleman?
Yeah, Coleman Avenue and West Pike Street, which is part of 19, and Baker Street, which is kind of going up the hill past North Street into Staley, and Milford Street.
Why did you wait till the night to have this consideration brought in front of all of us without having any idea? I don't understand it.
Why didn't you
bring it up for tonight? So we have some idea how much it might cost. That's our job.
All right. Well,
we can't just throw around random money without knowing a number. Why wait till the night of a meeting to have that discussion?
Well, then don't get mad at me.
Don't get mad at me.
Because I'm
mad because it's gonna make it all
several
look bad.
questions, and I apologize if I missed the email, but I saw it tonight when, I don't know how I got it. I don't know if it was,
Forwarded today.
and that forwarded today. So if it was with the packet, I guess I could have emailed out some questions, but I have additional questions as well. So going back to the original grant that I brought up, some concerns at that point in time. So this still does not contemplate other businesses that were excluded from the original grant process. All we're adding is non-primary business operators, including subtenant and sublease services. Is that pretty much correct?
Yes.
So again, we're still not considering CPAs, tax, any of them? No. So we're still, we have an issue on our hand, and I agree. I didn't like the first one we did, and I'm not really liking this one because, I mean, I know it helps, but we're still not encompassing everybody, even on Main Street. We're skipping several businesses, and they're lifelong businesses here in downtown, and we're still sticking to them. And I just don't like that. I think if we do it, we should do it for everybody and do it correctly. Not picking and choosing. If we're going to be here, again, I could have said something before now, but I said it when we approved the first one. I didn't like it either. We are picking and choosing who we're providing to, no matter what the amount is. I don't think we knew the amount then, and I still don't have a list of who got them.
I think the only new amount that came to my attention is when the public reached back out to us and they let us know there was oversight, and like Miss Chase and there's other business owners that came to us and let us know that oversight, and then we recognized it, and then as a council we all discussed that, and we all knew that. I thought, because we came here tonight for this agenda item, that we were aware of that. I just don't know why the discussion is. I'm not comfortable making a decision without knowing a number, but I was prepared for this agenda item tonight, and that's not a shot at you. I'm not just saying because you said you didn't see it, but I don't know how we can make that motion. If you wanted to bring it back with another number, maybe then, but right now, a motion on the table without knowing any money, the money, I just don't feel comfortable doing it. That's not a shot to any of those businesses that you guys may be considering, but doing it right now is not the right way we should handle this, because we have a budget. We have to know, we have to find the money. We got to know how much money we have. We got to know where we're going to pull it out of if we can do it. And we can't do it on the table with that much money, with the unknown.
Was this called the question then on my motion to amend, and then we could get back to the regular one, so.
So I guess a clarifying question. This amendment, your amendment, would come back next week, correct? Or is this done?
I believe the motion to amend is the current.
Would be
item
like
on the
an
agenda.
insert. Be an insert to this.
Blank check.
What? So
I would discourage
You're adjusting the boundary.
council
Yes.
from changing the boundaries. The boundaries were exactly where the project was. As soon as you extend the boundaries, anybody can make the case in the entire city that they were impacted in some way or another. There's no end to that.
And here's the thing we have to look at, folks, is, Councilman Worth, you're the guy who always says, we need more work sessions. And now you pull this out at the very last minute.
I mean, I could pull this off. I could
We need to
rescind my
go ahead
motion
and
make a
handle this
motion that we
business.
table this and go to
We
work
have
session.
business at hand, and now you're moving the goalpost, and we're shuffling things around. Let's take care of this situation. Let's get this thing behind us so we can move on. We've got business to take care of here in the city, and we're not handling it because we've been dragging the same issue around.
Mr. Mayor, I rescind my motion and I make a motion that we table this whole item, for a future work session to discuss it more. That way we could iron everything out, ask all the questions that need to be asked, and come up with a better plan and a better resolution.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor to rescind his motion?
I thought we were.
To table.
And to table.
So he rescinded the motion. This is the.
And he's asking for a table. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Councilmember Deems?
No.
Councilmember Howe?
Yes.
Councilmember Hyman?
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson?
No.
Councilman Ward?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Riffle?
No.
Mayor Malford?
Yes.
So,
Motion to table carries.
okay.
Not what you asked for.
I'd like to make a comment on this. Maybe 2 months ago or longer, when this came up, I made a motion because I knew this was going to end up being a cluster. And I made a motion that we give every business in the area $2,000, and it fell on deaf ears. So, you know, we wouldn't be into this quagmire if we'd have done something a little better. Thank you.
Consideration of the approval of funding of an opioid grant request submitted by Village Square Development Corporation in the amount of $25,000 for the feasibility study of the HOPE proposal.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the funding amount of $25,000 for the feasibility study of the HOPE proposal.
Do we have a second?
What happens now if there's no second?
Motion dies. Discussion regarding the location of the Almost Heaven Swing.
I requested this to be on the agenda after there was some discussion by email. Well, that wasn't really a discussion, but it was brought up that we were going to meet up there, or at least there was going to be a walkthrough of it. So I'm going to bring up my concern about the location, and my only concern really is accessibility and the amount of tree work that would need to be done to make the location what it needs to be. So I talked to Mr. Police by email last week. He said he might have some updates for us. But other than that, that's...
I'll add into that too. So we've contacted the state. They're actually going to come up for a visit.
Mm-hmm. That's what Mr. Police
She
said.
said she's busy right now. We've done a lot of the tree removal work already from that location.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently they need to approve that location before we finalize where we're going to put it. The original location, Steve, if you could explain where that is and why it's not appropriate and why it's not going to work.
Please tell me it's not Nutterport Park.
What he said? I don't know. Who knows at this point?
The original location, the original location of the order here, please, that was proposed, ended up being actually, when we got a copy of the picture that was proposed, ended up being down near the corner, just across the street from the water board's tank on Chestnut Street, or not Chestnut, but 2nd Street at the top of the hill. She took a picture that was the view of that little flat section on the side. So after further discussion and looking at that, we couldn't find anything that was safe about putting the
I'm
swing.
sorry. I need to interrupt you. You said it was down by the water tank?
Down by the water tank. Yeah, that's where the picture that she sent and the picture that was approved by the West Virginia Tourism.
Well, we dodged that bullet, huh?
They didn't make it. So the young lady at the tourism department has been very gracious.
Good.
They're involved in a big process right now. They are not opposed to relocating the sign. You know, we've been very proactive with them. They want to be just as important to us as it is to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to make a drive up, and they're going to help us select a site that's appropriate for the swing itself.
Okay. Well, and adding on to that, I walked up there after, like I said, there was an email that went out. I went up there by myself, and I walked down to the point that's in the curve there, and it seemed like there was some work that had already been done. Some stuff had been marked. I don't have a problem with that place at all, that location. Again, my only concern is access, mainly for people who have disabilities or, obviously, if you can get down there, you can get down there. But, if you're in a wheelchair or, have mobility issues, you're not getting down there.
We share your concerns as well.
Okay. And then the other aspect is just the trees. I mean, you're sitting at that point, you're just not going to be able to see the city at all without a lot of tree work. And, that's my concern. I walked up and I went behind the YMCA, and I don't know if I explained this to you, but I explained this to Ms. Fell. It seems like that would have a little bit more access, a little bit more easier. It seems like that it's maintained. There's it can be mowed. There can be a footpath of some sort for wheelchair accessibility. There'd be parking, way more parking. And it seems like we wouldn't have to clear that many trees. Of course, it would have to be a lot of landscaping, but it would have to be some work. Obviously, the concern there is the YMCA. So
we're going to let them kind of guide us, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's great.
And we'll probably come back with a proposal. That's our plan.
My concern is, going forward is I don't want this to be another wind sculpture or gazebo.
No, sir, it's not.
Okay, that's exactly what I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr.
Can you remind us where those are?
Mr. Police.
I have no idea. It's like,
The concrete pad that's up there on Lounge Hill where the old fire tower used to be.
There was never a concrete pad there. The fire tower was
Okay.
anchored.
But we're talking Lounge Hill, right?
Yeah, but the concrete pad that he's referring to is out on the other point, on the lower parking lot. There was a pavilion out there at one point in time.
Okay.
The big bend where the historical sign is, right up
Up
top.
on-
of that
up on
hill.
the-
Up on top.
The fire
Okay,
tower is
yeah,
actually.
okay, then
The
all
fire
right.
tower was behind the YMCA, out on the big point.
Okay.
This, what the original thought was, it was gonna be near the lower or the middle parking lot before you go up to the actual Y. There's adequate parking there, but we're still a little bit concerned about, as Councilman Hyman pointed out, there's a lot of foliage and a lot of brush and stuff that would have to be removed to make it as picturesque as they want. So she's just gonna make a drive up here and we're gonna
They're very particular about
Yeah.
where it goes.
And there are some things, they want to make sure that we are bound by some agreements. We're not supposed to do any media thing until they do it first. So, we'll try to keep it as quiet as we can as far as the location so that it doesn't get out. But, yeah, we want it to be just as nice as they want it to be.
Do they require it to be ADA accessible?
They do not.
Okay.
Now, there's two specifically that I know of, I've been at both, that are only accessible if you've got an ATV, a UTV, or a motorcycle, because they're on the Hatfield McCoy trails, so they're not ADA compliant by no means.
The only one I've been to is in Wheeling on the river.
Right.
And it's obviously.
There's none in Harrison
compliant.
County,
Yeah.
and we're very proud of the fact that we were selected to have one here, so we want to make sure that we cross all of our T's and dot our I's to make sure it's right.
Not only that, once Public Works places it, that thing is not getting moved.
We can always put it in Northview Park. So
I thought another ideal place would be in front of the Baltimore, but I don't really like that idea because I want it to be the view. I mean, I think everybody.
But if you
knows the
look
view.
at the 50-some that they have, there's a lot of, one of the nicest ones that they get viewed the most is the one down that's across the river from the Capitol, and the Capitol is in the background. It's the backdrop of the photographs. So, there's one of them is in Philippi, and in the backdrop is the covered bridge.
Mhm.
So it's not necessarily specifically vistas and views.
Yeah, I understand. I appreciate it.
Well, let's hope we find a spot, right? It's been 9 months, so let's keep this moving.
Is that all?
Consideration of appointment to the Code Appeals Board.
Mayor, I move to appoint Kim Harvey to the Code of Appeal Board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of 2 appointments to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Madam Clerk, I move we appoint Mr. Roger Baker and Ms. Hattie Wright to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of appointment to the Parking Authority.
Mr. Mayor, I move to appoint Christopher Scott to the Parking Authority.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Council comments?
Mr. Deems,
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much.
you're quite welcome.
So that was quite a meeting. Lots of stuff to talk about. Going back and looking at the Village Square project, Mr. Lopez, I know you're here. I appreciate your time. My concern right now is something I brought up at the work session. The city needs to have a recreation plan. We need to figure out exactly what's happening with the Y. We need to start that process. We need to start the RFPs, all of those things. And so for me, I'm not a no forever on this project. I'm a no for right now. I think we've got to see what we've got, what we could possibly acquire, and then go from there. So I hope within, the next month that we have a work session to talk about the recreation aspect for the city. Because, I love election season. I especially like elections that I don't have to run in. So, I've always been a nerd about it. And I think that it's good as an incumbent, as somebody who, to watch and listen to what people are saying to the candidates. And I'm seeing a lot of concern about a lack of plan, a lack of direction, and I agree. It sometimes seems like we're just kind of meandering around, and without any real point to where we're going. I hope that we can change that. I think we need to have these work sessions, um, you know, and get down to the business of making sure that we don't always all have to agree on everything. We're going to find things that we're going to fight about, things we don't agree with. But if I think if we agree to a plan and we follow it, to use a sports analogy, we got to call the play and then execute it. I originally had brought up the consideration of the expansion of the downtown construction impact business program. I wanted to expand that program and add on for personal service professionals that would increase the amount. We'll give them a one-time flat financial award of $2,100 for qualifying personal service professionals, those who are hairdressers, cosmeticians, but not limited to. They're an individual personal service professional, licensed cosmetologist, hairstylist, esthetician, nail technician, barber, massage therapist, tattoo artist, who is an independent contractor or subleasee within a larger establishment located within the boundaries of the infrastructure project. They've maintained a minimum of 90 days of operation within the period from March 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025, have annual revenues of $600,000 or below, and hold a current and valid business license with the city of Clarksburg. So I hope that can come to the next meeting. Have we, when they brought, this is a question for City Manager Fell, when we had the presentation about the Lowndes Hill project, we talked about having the analysis of the Civil War trenches. Has that been done yet?
So I'm going to ask Jason to answer that because he spoke to the.
I spoke to the SHPO department, the Historic Preservation Association.
Yeah.
And their recommendation, they would not do the 106 review without a federal grant being involved. So we will have to figure out a different way to go about getting that done.
So why can't we do it without a federal grant?
SHPO will not provide the 106 review for us.
Okay.
Without a federal grant being involved.
Okay.
We would have to expend funds for a archaeological survey or to hire a geological or archaeological firm to do that 106 review for us.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I am, on a positive note, I thought the idea of the neighborhood sweeps, a coordinated effort, is very good. This is a model that, I heard about at National League of Cities. And so I'm happy to see that happening. I would like to see council receive a report after those to let us know where you were, what you saw. I'm not saying a detailed document, but just kind of a general overview to let us know.
They will be included in your city manager report.
Could we see it more than once a month, though?
If you would like that. It's just adding more paperwork onto something we're trying to move, and it takes the code department, they're already overwhelmed trying to organize all of this, so it's asking a lot of them when we're trying to do this in the neighborhoods, but I will tell them that council would like that.
I would even be willing right now to look at, twice a month. Happy Mother's Day. Make sure you take opportunity to celebrate your mom or somebody in your life that has been a motherly figure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Hyman, you don't have very many meetings left, but.
That's right. That's right. Tonight, after tonight, I'll have 3 meetings left, and I would be remiss if I didn't call off my lovely wife, who's in the crowd for the first time. So she has put up with a lot over the last 5 years, and she put up with a lot in my campaign in 2021. And and I think it's great to see her out tonight, and thank her for all the moral support and basically the helping me along.
Don't forget your daughter.
Yeah, she was here last time. Yeah, my daughter's here too. Again, she was here at the last meeting. So appreciate everybody coming out. Donnie, miss you, buddy. You got to come up here and raise hell more after I'm gone, of course. Okay, I'll help you out. Maybe we can get the band back together. What do you think of that? Let's see. The splash pad. Back when we started talking about the splash pad, I was kind of disappointed at the location where it was going to be at, and my number one concern was access. And I think you can argue it 6 different ways from Sunday. At the end of the day, there's really not a great location to be centrally located unless it's downtown or in the central business district, and I don't think we want to go down that route. Although there seems to be plenty of opportunity for it to go in somewhere around, but like Jerry mentioned, if you live in Northview, you're not walking to the VA park, you're not walking to the splash zone there. So it's just a difficult position to be in. I understand it, but I think it'll be a success, and I think people will find a way. They'll find a way to get there. They'll find a way to park, and it would be great if it was supporting our local businesses. And I'm sure it will to a certain extent, but hopefully it'll be a smashing success. Let's see what else. What else we're going to talk about? Boy. Look at that agenda one more time. Yeah. Thank you, Councilman Worth.
I even did some notes for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Maybe I'll piggyback off you here, but I won't. In fact, what I'm going to do is we know that Tuesday is Election Day. I'm thankful that I won't be on the ballot. There'll be some of us in the crowd here that'll be on the ballot. There'll be some of us up here that'll be on the ballot. Just vote or not. Maybe you should stay home. I don't know. Maybe that's where we're at that point in this experiment. So other than that, have a great Mother's Day, and we'll do it again sometime soon.
Thank you, Mr. Herman. Mr. Jackson.
Well, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and potential mothers out there, and any fathers who may be doing the mother thing. So, but I just want to remind everybody. We talk about doing these work sessions and these reports and things like that. Is this really what we need? Get in the neighborhoods. If there's an event going on, we're councilmen 24/7, 365. If you're not doing your homework before you show up at this meeting to know what's going on, then what difference does it make if you get a report? Because you still don't know what happened. You know what? This is what we were elected for, is to be out there in the community so that people see us, we know what's going on, and regardless of what that report says, we got eyes on, and people have access to us. So, let's get out there. Let people know that, what, you elected us, and yeah, I'm still accessible, not just at the ballot box. I'm happy about the vote on the splash pad. I'm excited to see that move forward. I think that it's going to be, it'll be a big boost in the arm. There's been a lot going on over there at that park for years, and I think that this will continue. We have 2 great parks and all of our playgrounds throughout the city. So, I think that this will be a great boost. But, thank you to everyone who came out to the meeting tonight. I really thought we were going to go ahead and move that grant program forward this evening, but we'll get there. And thank you also to the people who signed in on the internet. So with that, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Ward.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I thank everyone coming out here. Thank everyone voicing their concerns. It's good to see a lot of participation from the audience, and hopefully we could answer those concerns the best that we can. I just want to reflect on, what Vice Mayor Riffle said, and I think it was very, it meant something to me, when it came to the splash pad, and when he said that, he could see everyone's viewpoint on this, and it was a tough decision. And I get that, because our Clarksburg City Park and their fort, that is a wonderful park, well-traveled, has well attended. You had the ball fields there. It's something that is great, for our region. I just, I was against the splash pad because even from the start, because I just, in my time in these neighborhoods, which I spent a lot of time in, I see parks that could, use a little bit of a facelift, and I just think that, maybe we could have spent, a lot of this money, trying to strengthen our current parks that we have within our current city boundaries in our neighborhoods. And I, that way every child in the city, will have an opportunity to, be at a nice park that, and I'm not saying our parks are not nice, because they are, but I just think, making such a big expenditure on a splash pad that, maybe a handful of folks, in our Trobus Park or Suwan Terrace may have, foot access to. I just think that we could have utilized that a little bit better in our current parks. But I did want to reflect back on what Vice Mayor Riffle said, and I think that was really on target. The other thing I want to reflect on too is what Councilmember Jackson, said, and I think it really meant a lot to me too. When he did say, okay, well, we're here with these small business grants. You talk about having work sessions, Wayne, and it really made me think, because I brought up this proposal to amend this to extend the boundaries because I care about those businesses, like Vito's Pizza and Clarksburg Blueprint and how they just had such a lack of access because of all this. And then you have the West End Antiques, some of these businesses that are just outside of that area, but were really impacted. But I understand, that, and it's like Vice Mayor Riffle said, I understand you got to bring numbers, to this. And you know what? I didn't bring any numbers to it, but I think the silver lining out of all this, and this is why I really like this council so much, is that we can learn from each other. And when I rescinded my motion, I thought, you know what? Maybe for the first time, maybe we should all this have a public work session and just discuss this. To say, hey, this is why I want to extend the boundaries. This is why I want $2,100 going to the businesses. Because I think all of us are pretty bright up here and we have, good sound minds and we could work together pretty well. I just think that we just have to be in a position where we could talk about these things and discuss these things and make a plan around these things without feeling the pressure of needing to, vote on it within 15 minutes. And then all we're doing is just arguing and fighting with one another. And that's why I think work sessions are so important, especially for something this big, because we want to make sure that we do the best we can to make sure every business is represented in this as much as we can. And we're not going to hit them all, but we at least need to try. So I thank you both down here for that, really do, sincerely. And
The other thing is Mother's Day. So Mother's Day, was founded in Grafton, West Virginia, not far from here. And it was founded by, a lady named Anna Jarvis. And Anna Jarvis wanted to celebrate her mother, Anna Reeves Jarvis. And what's really amazing about our region and about our state and about Mother's Day coming up is that Anna Reeves Jarvis, after the Civil War, she brought together both veterans from the North that fought for the North and fought for the South in Grafton to a picnic to try to ease tensions, because she valued community. And of course, she was a great mother. If you've ever been to Webster, West Virginia, down in Taylor County, and through the Anna Jarvis birthplace, you'll see the old 1857 piano in there that she used to play after church, to the kids. And Anna Jarvis, who was the founder of Mother's Day, wanted to celebrate that. And it was Governor Glasscock, that first made the state proclamation, making it around the state of West Virginia, Mother's Day. And then finally it was Woodrow Wilson that, signed a proclamation to make Mother's Day a national holiday. Now it's an international holiday. So just think about those things, when you think, about your mom, and just, think about what mothers do, how they go above and beyond, not only for their families, but for their community. So just want to share a little bit of that. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Howe.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, obviously, I think everybody sees that. I think all 7 of us are very passionate about the city. And I think we all have strong beliefs of directions we should go and how we utilize the funding mechanisms we have in place. Ultimately, we do get projects done. And, even though we have dissenting votes on some ends, it's still we, because we do operate as one council at the end of the day. So, I do appreciate having a council that we can have good-hearted conversations about different items and to be able to come to conclusions and get things moving. So I do appreciate all the council on that. So going back to the 16th email, I guess, or whatever, but maybe it was discussed at the April 2nd meeting, which that's the one I was absent from, which is bringing me to my point I'm getting at here shortly. So April 2nd, I was out of town, and I think all of council was well aware that I was not going to be at that first meeting in April, as I made it, I thought, pretty clear to everyone that I was not going to be present. So I was a little bit stunned in seeing on the April 2nd agenda the consideration for a contract extension at that point in time. Typically, by the contract for the city manager, it's done in May. So it was obviously going to be done well before the election for whatever reason. I was disappointed I could not be here. I could not even participate. I was on a flight home, so did not have access to any kind of communication to be able to be present for the executive session or for that meeting. But also, I just want to clarify, and sometimes I understand we get things wrong in the paper sometimes, but I'm not calling you out, but it did say a 4-3 vote. So obviously it was not a 4-3 vote. I was not present, so there weren't 7 members here. And it also stated that Councilman Riffle was one of the 3 dissenting votes. So I guess I want clarification on that Councilman Riffle was probably not a dissenting vote, if I was correct.
I can't remember.
But regardless, so I just wanted to make a point that I was not here for that. In the future, I hope that, we know someone's not going to be here, regardless of how their feelings are, or, because it is a point of time when we do evaluations. And I think all 7 members' comments and suggestions should be included in those comments in executive session, because that is the evaluation of the one of 2 employees we have. So for the ones that don't understand, city council has 2 employees, the city manager and the city clerk, and those 2 report directly to us. So I did receive several calls from constituents why I was not at the meeting, had explained, it was well known I wasn't going to be here. So, then reading the editorial in the paper, I think the following week or something, it said about transparency. And, and I think that brings to light as well, because people started asking me, well, what was the extension? So, because it was a consideration item, we never did have a resolution back on the following agenda for a resolution to approve the city manager's contract. Typically, that's the process. So I still hope that is something still forthcoming, and that should lay out what that contract clearly states, so the citizens and everybody understands clearly what 7 people are voting on moving forward. And so I would ask that just be done, as I believe it is the proper way to conduct that. But to my understanding, since I haven't read it anywhere, I'm assuming we did a 1-year extension through July 31st, 2027. And if I'm incorrect, please let me know. And then in that contract as well, the city manager shall not accept any other employment or become employed by any other employer during the period of this agreement. They will receive a 3-month payout if their contract's terminated, and the base salary of $142,000 through 7/31 of 27, and they are not eligible for a cost of living adjustment. Now, the next performance evaluation in the current contract is May, so I'm assuming it still stays into effect, so it'll be May of 27. And then the auto and cell phone and internet allowance is still continuation, I would assume. But I did notice there was a removal of Section 8 of other benefits in the contract from last year. And I don't know if it was by mistake or if that was discussed in executive session. Regarding payouts for unused vacation and sick time as all other city employees. That used to be in there. I don't know if it still is. But I do not remember that being removed. And then lastly, again, I just want to urge council that we should be acting upon a resolution so that it is in the books that we did do that, just not as a consideration item. So that was my comments from that meeting, as I was not there. And I would have brought this up at last meeting, but we abruptly adjourned that meeting and I could not be here, but I was by phone. And so I had my comments prepared for that. So those are those comments for last meeting. So moving on to this meeting. So I would like to see if we can get an update. I think we voted on it several months ago, and I haven't seen any movement on it, but for the Emily Drive project for the James D. La Rosa.
We have not moved on.
Nothing there?
Not yet.
Okay. So, all right. If we can get an update maybe soon on that. Code enforcement complaint, Mr. Rutter, I feel for you because I understand what you're saying. And I too received some complaints from other individuals within the city regarding similar complaints, that they're not being phone calls returned or they're not told what you weren't told. And, and I thank Ms. Fell for acting upon it when I contacted her via email to get this situation rectified. It got done, but I think we have a communication problem between staff and the public, because when people call, and I get you're busy, but everybody deserves a call back within 24 hours. If it's no, they need to know it's no and the reason why. So at least then if they come to us, we're not caught off guard, they're told a reason. But if they're not getting a call back or responded to, that's another issue I think we're having internally that we need to really get corrected, because I think that's where the frustration really stems from. It's just not the communication back when somebody calls into code, public works, whatever. So I think we just need to really emphasize that to the department heads, pass down to the city employees. And also then, just a follow up to another project I think we approved last year, Can we get an update on the Barings Advisors Prevent and Protection Program?
Did you want me to give that right now or?
Your choice. You can do it now via email or manager's report or.
So what we did was we sent out a document to all employees to see if they wanted to provide information, because the information you can't FOIA, and on legal advice I'm not to give it out with employees' permission. So there was a certain number of employees said yes, they were interested, and a certain number of employees that said no. We sent that off to Barron Advisors. They reviewed who wanted to do it, and they said that they're going to circle back with us, I believe, in a couple months to see how to move forward.
Thank you. And then if we can get an update on the Business Advisory Committee, I think we approved that March 5th. Is there anything else we need to do to get that moving?
We're just waiting for the 30 days online. I think, has it been 30 days in that? We haven't gotten any applications back, so we're gonna have to try to find people. I think I sent out an email. If council has any more suggestions, we'll take them. Right now, we have 3.
Thank you. And again, I'd just like to, congratulate Bill Yoke. I know he had to leave. It's well-deserved recognition. Bill, longtime Clarksburg resident, WYK, they bleed Clarksburg. They've done tremendous projects throughout the city of Clarksburg, throughout the county, throughout the state of West Virginia and beyond. And, I think we owe a lot to Bill, not just to recognize him, but, Bill was a cornerstone of the community. He's been here through, like I said, a lot of projects, and I've known him for many years and had the opportunity to work with him. He's a stellar person, and his work surpasses that. So again, congratulations to Bill. And then also just want to congratulate Ann Hart for reopening up Hart's Kitchen. I think that's going to be a nice addition back on 4th Street. It's good timing. I think we have a lot of events coming up. Street's going to be done. Things such as that. So I think that'll be a great asset back for downtown. Tommy, I'll touch on the Hope Project as well. I made a motion, couldn't get a second. Not sure why. I think we have various reasons out there, but just to let council know, I did contact the West Virginia Attorney General's office regarding the MOU, and their opinion is it does fall under the approved uses, and so therefore we could actually fund that program, but ultimately I think to give validity to the others, that there is a plethora of other revenue sources out there that are in forms of grants, the One Foundation, and everything that project does solely fall under. And I wish we could have got something just a little bit more to understand. For the $25,000 out of our opioid funds, if that was something that we could have moved forward on. I think we've done a lot of other funding mechanisms to the opioid funds that are questionable in itself, but and I think there's some other out there coming up. So I just hope we keep an open mind for the future for opioid funds, how we can use them, think outside the box, and hopefully that helps us grow the city because, while the project area is not in the corporate limits of the city, it abuts right up to it. And that easily could be a multi-million-dollar project. I think it could be transformative. And I agree with Councilman Deems about knowing, what our plans are overall. We don't have a plan yet for the Y. And speaking of which, we don't have any money in the budget next year for the Y. So we're coming down a road at a fast pace. We're in May. Swim season's coming up in September, and we got to get money back in the budget to do something there. So, we have a lot of projects that we really got to start focusing on moving forward. And, and when other projects come to us with opportunity, sometimes I think it is worth taking a risk, and doing that because it's opioid funding and a mechanism that all we're doing is exploring the idea. And I don't think we ever should shut the door on somebody that's coming to say, we have an idea. If it falls under the guidelines of the MOU, if the Attorney General's office agrees that it falls under the guidelines of the MOU, And I think we can make anything fit. You know, we can put a square peg in a round hole within this MOU. I mean, it's wide open by all the variables they leave there. So I just hope we keep an open mind moving forward when we deal with opioid funds and really trying to enhance assistance to people within the community, the youth, and try to move the city forward. So I do appreciate that. Again, happy Mother's Day. Oh, yield my time back to you as the Vice Mayor.
Well, thank you, Mr. House. That's gentlemanly of you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
I should have wrote down what I was going to say because I forgot all of it.
Thank you, Jerry.
Mr. Lopez, I appreciate you putting all your time and efforts into that. When it comes to the youth, you know, I'm all for that. My hesitance is, and I treat every single penny of that opioid money that comes in seriously. Not that everybody else does it, but when I have it directly impacted my family, very close to my family. So I just, every single penny of that matters. And I needed to know more about the long-term structure of our payments and where that, I know we had some estimates on costs, but I needed to know more of the structure and the payment and you know, and how much it could be and, you know, how would we fund it? And I needed to see it exactly as it would be. Because the feasibility study, you know, doesn't mean it's going to happen, but still I need to know if we can do it, even before we put the 25,000 in. I'm open to revisiting it, as Councilman Deem said. So if that's where we end up, and I'd be more than happy to revisit it.
Shane, really?
The grant program, I would like to make a formal request for a work session as soon as we can. I think I'm all about work sessions. I don't care how many we have. I'm all about putting the time, the effort into it. If somebody wanted to have one on a Sunday, I will be there. And I'm being serious. Like, whatever work it takes to get it done as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible. I want to get stuff done. As Councilman House said, we have a lot of things, a lot of projects, a lot of plans. Like, we need to get to work. And I might only have a few months left, so it might be more urgent if I don't get back up here. So, and if I don't, we're going to be really pedal to the metal. I'm just letting you guys know. We got to get stuff done. I should have voted against Miss Wright's appointment because, you know, I just shouldn't be approving anything she's doing right now. But I did enjoy. I hope you spent a lot of time on that committee, you know, so you don't need to leave it anytime soon. I'm joking. Happy Mother's Day, Miss Wright. Happy Mother's Day to all, Miss Fell, Miss Wright, my mother. She's watching. She's already texted me a couple of times. She said, "Quit talking, move on." All right, Mom, you got it.
Here.
And Councilman Work threw me a curveball too, because we were really into it, and then he says nice things about me. I wasn't ready for that.
Still love you, Jay.
I know. Me and Wayne, we've been in the mud trenches together, and we fight up here a lot. I'm all about work sessions, getting things done. We'll get it right. There's tomorrow, speaking of parks, Glen Elk, 1:30, the opening for the new park. Glen Elk is where I'm from. All parks matter. Glen Elk really matters. It's where I'm from. And I'm glad it looks great. I'm glad it can help with the school over there, and I'm helping for the Glen Elk community. The splash pad, that's the job of being a council member. I've had people on both sides of it. Somebody that I talk to every day that knows all about council, has served on council for years, has told me that he didn't support it. And we had conversations for hours and hours. I respected his opinion. But also, I think I was in a good position to where I can talk with a lot of families. And overwhelmingly, they supported the idea of it. And like I said, everybody made good points. That's how a council member's job is, to listen. If my dad was against it, but 25 families said they were for, I would have to be for it. That's just how it is. So, and tonight's meeting was very exciting. So those that are running, you don't have to. You can drop out now if you want to. It's not easy.
Their name's still on the ballot.
Yeah, well, yeah. And Will, you're going to get a write-in vote. You're going to get a write-in vote. Sorry, Rosie. I'm going to get him a write-in vote. Maybe he'll get him back up here without his. So everybody go vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Folks, see something, say something, pick up the phone, dial 911, please. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Good luck to all the candidates, city, county, and statewide. It's your right and your privilege. Please get out and vote. Call for adjournment.
Adjourn.
Adjourn. Oh, yeah.